Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nabilah binti Muhammad Zulkifli. Here, I want to present my final year project. My project is QuoTenFinder system. It's about development of quotation notice and tender finder system using web scraping. Okay, this is my table of contents. We have 4 sections. The first one is the chapter 1. It talks about project background, problem statement, objective, scope, and significance. For the section 2 is about technologies. Section 3 is about case diagram, activity diagram, ERD, system architecture, and also the methodology. And the last section is about application testing. Here is the section 1 for the chapter 1. Here is the project background. We have 2 points here. First one is the e-tender and the second one is a web scraping. The first one, in a general context, the addition of electronic tenders known as the e-tender is now present in the tender and quote note. It is an automatic method of sending and receiving tenders. Instead of using the old school method, it is all paper-based that insert and post the document into an envelope. Nowadays, in the modern century, we can share them across the internet and have their own website for a lot of agencies. The second one, because of the lot of agencies that have their own websites, the QuoTenFinder system uses the web scraping technology to provide service and to tender and quote information from a single or group of websites with minimal human interference. It is a technique of automatically collecting data or extract the data through the World Wide Web. Here is the problem statement. We have 3 points here. The first one, variety of a tender is only shown on their website. Almost all the agencies in Malaysia have their own website. If they have a notice, they will post it on their website. To find a tender, the user have to open a variety of websites, and a lot of them do not know which school or which company or any agent posts the tender for the notice. Often, the user must contact the school or that company to inquire about the tender. The second point is difficult to find the tenders other than honest website. Nowadays, social media is very popular, and there are a lot share about the tenders or any information about the quotation they share in the social media such as WhatsApp, Telegram, or Facebook. This is a tough situation for other users who do not have a friends who know about the tender and the notice is not posted on their website. For the last point is a tender from any agent on one website is hard for the user to search. They find it difficult to find a tender from any agent in one place. Typically, they have one agent on the website who owns their website. It also challenges for supplier who needs to locate the tender in one place that have the same sector but a different agent. Here is the project objective. The first one is to develop a web-based tender finder system using web scraping. The second one is to develop the program to be more user-friendly and organized. And the last point is to test the usability of the QuoTenFinder system and the accuracy of the algorithm. Here is the project scope. The scope of the project is to scrape tender and quotation data from the 3 main websites. My procurement is for the government, MARA, and UITM website. The data that is scraped uses web scraping with Node.js and public tier. This project focuses on the user who wants to locate the tender that has the same industry but on a different agency. The platform of this project is a web-based application system. Besides that, the system uses PHP as a programming language for the system, JavaScript for the web scraping, and we use the Laravel framework as the back end and the front end. This is a project significance. The first one is scrape the data from the other website. The data that we scrape from the other website using web scraping and through the scraping of URL will be searched on the website in some states such as Malacca or Pahang, and not from one website, but all the owner website of the sector concerns. Data is extracted from my procurements, MARA, and UITM. The second one is to search data according to the user needs. Searching are designed to search for an element or to remove an element from any data structure it is containing. The user enters the data that they want and the system will scan according to the user data. The last one, the list was classified by agency and type of procurement. The system have already classified the tender list and the quotes according to the agency and the form of procurement as well. It will make it easy for the user to locate the tender or the quotation. Section 2 for the Chapter 2. The QuoTenFinder system uses technology web scraping and Puppeteer. Web scraping, web harvesting, or web data extracting is a data scraping used for extracting data from multiple websites. It can be done manually and it can be automated using a bot or a web crawler. Puppeteer is a library of a node which provides a high-level API over the DevTools protocol to control Chrome or Chromium. By default, Puppeteer runs headless, but it can customize Chrome or Chromium to run complete non-headless. Node.js is a great tool to use for web scraping. It allows implement the web scraping routine in a couple of lines of code using the open source module provided by NPM. Section 3 for the Chapter 3. This is a methodology for this project. We use the SDLC waterfall model. Based on this figure, it has 4 phases: analysis of requirements, design, implementation, and testing are the general steps that are achieved. All the information relevant to the project is based on the literature review and the carried out by the survey for the requirement analysis. The next stage is a design for each system interface, like activity diagram and other functions. All the coding used in this project is about the module and the technology such as web scraping. It used to create the web application. It has been implemented. And the last one, testing. There are functional testing and usability testing in this stage. Next is a case diagram. Here we have 2 actors, which is user and admin. The user, it can register, sign in, view all tenders and quotation notice. From the view, we can view the detail, and from the detail, we can also download the PDF. Then, user can search the tender, and last one is the sign out. For admin, they can log in to the system, manage tender and quotation notice, which is included with the add tender, update tender, or the quotation notice, delete, and also view. Last one is admin can sign out from the system. This is the activity diagram for the user. First, user needs to sign in into the system. If they have an account, they can sign in directly. If they don't have an account, they need to register first. Next, after they sign in, they can either view all the tenders or quotation, or they can search in data. From the view, they can choose either tender or quotation. And if they choose one of them, it will directly to the details. And for the searching data, the data that they search will be directly to the view details also. From the view details, they can choose either they want to download the PDF or not. If you want to download the PDF, it will directly to the link to the PDF to download it. If they don't want to download, it's okay. It can either the user wants to log out, or they can view all the tenders again. Back to the register or sign in. After they sign in, if they don't want to do all the process all above, they can log out from the system. This is the activity diagram for admin. First, admin needs to log in with the data that already set in the database. They don't need to register or create a new account. So after that, they can view all tenders or add to the data. From the view all tenders, they can choose either they want to update or they delete in the list tenders. So if they choose to update the data, after they are update, the page will return to the list of the tenders. The same way with the delete. After the delete, it will return to the list of the tenders and quotation notice. Next one is add the new data. Add the new data, they can add the news either tenders or quotation. After that, it will return to the view all tenders and quotation notice. After all the progress have done, they can log out from the system. This is ERD for the system. We have 8 tables: user, categories, admins, tenders, quotation, UITM, MARAs, and GULFs. User can choose category from the quotation or tenders. Admin, which they use for create, read, update, or delete the data from quotation and tenders. And tenders have a relationship with the quotations, and the bridge from between them is the UITMs. The same way with the MARAs and governments. This is a user interface for user. The first picture is a login page. The second is a register page. The next, list page of the tenders or the quotations. The fourth is the download PDF file page. The next is a link to the URL page. And the last is a searching page. This is for user interface for admin. Login page, add a new data page, list page, update page, and the last one is the logout page, which is just a button on the navigable bar. This is a system architecture for this project. This illustration above shows the overall system architecture. The system needs web scraping software, which is Node.js and Puppeteer, to extract data from multiple websites of the organizer into one page. Extracted data will be stored in the MySQL database. Laravel framework is the back-end and also the front-end of the system. The data from the database that admins insert will be shown into the web applications through the Laravel framework. The data of the user also be stored in the database by the help from the web applications and also from the database. User can download the PDF document of the tenders or quotation that's shown in the web application. The admin will handle the tenders and quotation notice by the update, delete, view, and add the new data. Section 4. Application Testing. First, we test the application for the user. First, this is the sign-in page. First, they need to click the sign-in in the navbar, and it will come up with a sign-in form. If you have email address and password, so we need to insert the email address if they have an account, and password. Then click on the sign-in, and it will direct to the home page for the user. This one for the register page. If they don't have an account, they can click on the create an account that have a link with directly to the register page. So they need to insert the username and then the email address and also the password. Lastly, they can click on the register. After that, they need to sign in again. After the confirmation of the register, So they need to sign in again. So they need just to insert the email address that they registered before it and the password. And then click on the sign in button. And it will directly into the QuoTenFinder homepage for the user. This is a list for the list page. They can choose either tender or the quotation from this menu drop down, and this shows the list tender from all the agency, WATM, MARA, and the governments. Next, we can see the quotation list tender. It is the same with the list tender. The quotation also return the data from the three agencies: government, MARA, and WATM. Before this, they just list the tender and quotation all by the agency. Now, here we can list the tender and quotation by agency. From the neighbor bar, they can click for the agency. They can see that they have been categorized by agency and also the type of procurement. Here is for the list tender UITM. The second one is for list tender MARA. The third one is for list tender from the government, e-procurement. Same way with the quotation. We have quotation from the UITM, MARA, and also from the government, e-procurement. Here for the download PDF page. As you can see, from the three agency, MARA is a one-off website that can download the PDF page. Here, they have give some link to the download to PDF. Here, you can see more detail on this tender, and you can also print and also download it. Other than that, for the government tenders that we scrap, it gives the URL page. Here, if you go through the government tenders or the quotation tenders, it have the list, the titles that have like hyperlinks. So the user can click on it and it will directly to the URL of this website. It will give you the own details and also give the PDF download. Here, the user can download, and it is same way with the Mars website. It can download from the three website. Not all the three can do to the download or to link to the URL page. It depends on three website that provide or not the URL or the PDF page. This is for searching page. The user can enter the data or what they want to search. For example, we can search rangkaian and then click for the search, and it will give the result for the tenders. And you click on it and it will give the details of that data. Next is logout page. In this page, at the navbar, you can see the logout button. So you just click logout and it will return to the sign in page. For admin admin, this is the login. For admin, they need to click on the hyperlink of the login as admin. If we go through the login page, they just need to enter the data that has been already set in the database. Next, they click on the login, and it will route directly to the home page for the admin. This page for view tender and quotation page. Here, for the navbar, they can choose either tender or quotations. If they choose tenders, it will list all the tenders, includes 3 agencies. It is same way with the quotation. Next is adding the new data on this page. Here, on the navbar, we can see they can choose the add to the data at the tenders or the quotation. Here, we choose the add tenders. So we just input all the information in the Google in the form. And lastly, if you finish to add the data, you just click on the button done. Okay. After that, it will direct to the list all the tenders. And you can see the new data that we already add in on the list. This for update data page. From the list, you can, from that sidebar, you already see the icon, pencil icon, and the trash icon. If you click the pencil icon, it go through the update details page. So if you want to update, you just update the data. Then after you update the data, you just need to click done, and then it will directly back to the list of the tenders or the quotations. Next, for delete data page. Same way with the update. On the right side, it have a trash icon, which means it's a delete data for the delete data. So if you click on the trash icon, it's immediately deleted. And in the list, there's no data that you delete before. Last but not least, for admin is logout page. At the admin's name, they have a navbar drop-down bar. You just click on the logout button and will directly to the sign in form.
Now we want to scrap the website tenders. We have 3 websites that we want to scrap, which are MARA, government, and UITM. For this one, we give the example to scrap the government tenders. Now we put the syntax. Okay, the software, web scraping software, will be scrap this website. The duration of the scraping depends on the internet. So I'm sorry if this scrap takes too long. Okay, now the scraping is successfully scrapped, and after this we goes to the database. We want to take a look if the tenders that we scrapped before is inserted into the database or not. So this one I will using my SQL Workbench for my database. So we want to see the database. Okay, the data was successfully inserted, but Here we can see that column state doesn't have a value because this one we scrap the basics, the attribute that 3 websites have. For state, I put in manually. Okay, that's all for scrap.
Next is progress web scraping. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you.